What's going on, everyone? It's Chris from XL Gaming, and today we're fixing your laggy stream. Your stream issues can be one or two things. It's either your internet or your computer. Let's start with internet. In order for us to understand whether it's the internet or the computer, we need to perform a speed test. Go to www.speedtest.net or another provider. Once there, go ahead and press go, and what that will do is perform a quick test. Once the test is complete, what you're going to look for is the upload speed. Anything more than 6 megabytes, you should be good to stream at 1080p. Anything less, you may need to readjust your settings in OBS or slobs. Next, open up OBS Studio and navigate to your settings in the bottom right. From there, I'm going to click on output. Video bitrate is the amount of data that is being sent per second to the streaming service. So right now, I'm sending 6,000 kilobytes of data per second to Twitch. I'm going to knock that down to half. Now, obviously, it's about finding the sweet spot. If your internet connection can handle it, then keep on bumping that up. Otherwise, go down to about 3,000. If you're still having issues, knock it down to 2,000, 2,500. But obviously, anything that we decrease, we need to make sure that we decrease the other settings with. Because if we decrease the amount of data we're sending to Twitch, but we keep all of our settings quite high, we're going to get a very choppy, blurry stream on the other end. Encoder, I'm going to set this to hardware and make sure that INVEC is selected. This is the difference between CPU and GPU. So is it my graphics card? Is it my CPU? I'm going to select graphics card because I want my graphics card to handle the load of actually encoding the stream itself. Audio bitrate you can go ahead and leave. Next, I'm going to click on video, and my base canvas resolution should be 1920 by 1080. That is because my monitor is 1920 by 1080. If you've got a 4K monitor, your base resolution should be the same as your 4K. Output scaled, I'm going to knock this down to 720p. Now this is just basically taking our 1080p and resizing it and sending a lot less data over to Twitch. Chances are most people are using a 720p device as default anyway. In some instances they may even be using 480. Obviously they're internet dependent. Frames per second, I'm just going to knock this down to 30. So we've got a drastically reduced size in terms of the data that we're sending over. Next, I'm going to click on advanced, and I'm going to set the process priority to above normal. What that does will basically assign more resource and more CPU higher priority to handle the encoding and processing tasks within OBS. Reducing 1080p to 720p, 60 frames to 30 frames, bitrate 6,000 to 3,000 not only helps the actual internet, but it helps the computer as well. So we're kind of killing two birds with one stone there. If you're still having internet issues though, what I would say is make sure everything's wired. Wi-Fi's got a tendency to have a lot of interference, and it's measured by a signal to noise ratio. And if you've got a lot of devices on the network, chances are you're going to be creating noise, unnecessary noise. So just make sure everything is wired in. Other than that, we've also got one other tool that is really powerful for us. Okay, the first URL that I want to show you is stream.twitch.tv. Basically, it's a recommended settings if you were streaming for a certain spec. So 1080p, 60 frames per second, through a graphics card, this is what it recommends. If I was doing it through the CPU, this is what it recommends. Go down to the other end, 720, 30 frames per second, this is what it recommends. So I'll leave a link to this down in the description. Once we've got all those settings, which we've just gone through anyway, I'll come over to inspector.twitch.tv. This is really powerful because it not only allows us to monitor our streams in real time, but retrospectively as well. So here I've got a previous stream, which I had no unstable events. I'm going to click on that, and you can see that my configuration was excellent and I had 2 hours 20 minutes of stable connection. So if there was for any reason a drop off in bitrate, it would come down here and it'd be highlighted red. If the frames per second dropped for any reason, again it would highlight it and drop down here. So in addition to retrospectively looking back, what we can do is we can perform a test. So I'm going to go ahead and open up OBS and show you how we can get that started. Once here, what I want to do is click on settings, and I want to go to stream. Now I've got my service set to Twitch, which will allow me to enable bandwidth test mode. Clicking that, apply, and OK. What that'll do is it'll put me into a test mode, and I won't actually go live, although Twitch will receive all data as if I am going live. So if I click start streaming, it'll say you've basically accepted the fact that you're going into test mode. You won't be set live. No one will be able to see that you're live. Do you want to continue? In order for you to go live, you'll have to untick this. So I'm going to go and say yes, and now we are sending Twitch data as if we was live. So if I went to my Twitch channel right now, nothing would be there. From there, what I'm going to do is navigate to inspector.twitch.tv, and up in the top right hand corner now we can see this little live graph. Now it's saying I'm live, although I'm not. But what we can do is click on this and we'll go into a real-time report on how our stream is performing. So as you can see, we've got a stable connection at 5,845 kilobytes. I didn't save my settings that we went through a second ago. I just left them at the highest possible. So I'm still streaming in 1080p at just under 6,000. So we've been stable now for 2.8 minutes. It's best to leave this as long as you possibly can. Don't do it for 15 hours, however, but if you can do half an hour, something around that mark, at least 25 minutes, just to get some kind of consistency. Because if your connection is dropping off every half an hour and you're testing a 15-minute window, chances are you're going to miss that issue. So what I would say is enable this, and what it'll do is it'll just give you a little pop-up and a little alert to say like your stream's having issues, and then what you can do is go in and monitor it. If you get something which is constantly dropping off at a recurring pattern, you can then do further investigation into what's going on. One that gets skated over quite a lot as well is to put your OBS into performance mode. Now there's no reason for me to render my OBS window and render the game and potentially my Twitch window, and so I have 3 of the exact same things being rendered at any one given time. So right click, enable preview, turn it off, and you just save a little bit more resource on the computer. And finally, what I would say is right click on the very bottom, click on Task Manager, and see what's eating up your resource. So right now we can see, even though I'm recording, only 40% of the GPU is being used by OBS. But we've got significant load being taken up from a memory point of view from Google, and then I'll just go through these and just see what services I need to actually just remove, turn off, or stop running altogether. Hopefully that makes sense. If you do have any issues, leave a comment down below and I'll try and get back to you as quickly as possible. Other than that, you've also got the Twitch channel that I stream on most days, and I've also got the community Discord. So links to everything will be down in the description. Until next time, take care.